In this tool review video here, we're going to review for you the Ryobi ONE+ 18-volt EZ Clean Cordless Power Cleaner. Now this is a nice little tool that intrigued us here because it was part of the Ryobi Days buy one get one free offer. Now the way it worked is if you bought this kit right here with the two 4-amp-hour batteries and the carrying case, if you paid $99 for this, you got to choose from one of about 40 different tool-only kits. And one I chose was this one right here. There's the Ryobi display there. So you buy for 99 bucks, you buy the battery starter pack there, two 4-amp-hour batteries, and then you get to choose any of those tools that are $79 and below. So anything above $79 is not part of the deal. As you look here at my shopping cart, you can see it's already pretty full here. When they say your cart runneth over, that's for sure. So we're going to put this one through the ringer here. We're going to try it on different projects here, and we'll see how it works. And it all starts right now. So the way that this Ryobi EZ Clean Cordless Power Cleaner works is you put one of the batteries on it here, and it hooks up to your hose, and then it shoots out high pressure water at about 5 times your hose pressure. When you turn on that spigot, your garden hose will put out about 60 to 65 psi in water pressure. So what this Ryobi cordless power cleaner does right here for you is it takes that 60 psi and it sort of multiplies it up by about 5x. Okay, so we're going to show you what we like about this Ryobi pressure cleaner and what we hate about it. Okay, so let's open it up. Let's see what we've got in here. I will probably never use this, who knows. Okay, so this right here is the on-the-go hose. So if you have to go mobile somewhere, you can stick this end of it into a tank right here and it'll suck the water right out of the tank. The front of the Ryobi EZ Clean Cordless Power Cleaner here has the connection to your hose right there. And this is actually my preferred type of hose connection. It's not a screw-on type. So luckily for our sake, Ryobi includes in the package here for us this adapter to connect to the hose. So the way this works is you slide this back here like that, and then it clicks right into place. See that? So it snaps in there. So there's a threaded female adapter right here. See right there, there's your female threaded adapter. So you just screw your hose right onto that. I am assuming it works best if you screw the adapter onto the end of your hose first, and then plug the whole adapter with your hose onto the connection there. And standard in these types of connections, which are very popular on most pressure washers, is you just pull down on it to pull it off like that. Now, I am concerned a bit that this is a cheap plastic one, and I don't know how long it's going to last. So I may decide later on to replace this one here with a brass one. So now, remember, this is the actual quick disconnect part here. So we're converting from the threaded hose on this side to the quick disconnect, the male connector over here on this side. Okay, now we have these two pieces here that just simply connect up end to end like this. Alright, so you can see here they're keyed to fit into one another. See how you have that little notch along the top of the opening there? So the other side has a positive key that fits into that. So there's the male side of it right there, and there's your positive key along the top there. Okay, and the female side has this latch mechanism. So if you look deep down inside there, watch that move. See that? When you push the button here. So this would be how you would release it after you've connected them together. Once they snap in, this button here will push up and stay up, and that's what secures them together into place. So now that they're both put in together here like this, we're just going to push the button down and snap it right into place. Okay, now listen for the snap. If you don't hear the snap, it's not in. You got to make sure these two arrows here line up. Do you hear that? It's snapped into place right there. You can barely see them, but there's your two arrows right there. These have to be completely lined up to each other before it will snap into place. So here's just the base unit itself, what it looks like all the way around. What I like about it is that they give you this big housing here to protect your battery, and that looks somewhat ruggedized. Okay, so this Ryobi EZ Clean Cordless Power Cleaner is model number RY120350. That's a long model number, don't you think? But this power cleaner here gives you a 3-in-1 turbo nozzle. This nozzle gives you a turbo stream, a 15-degree stream, or just a regular rinse. It works with any standard garden hose, which does not come with. You have to supply your own garden hose. It comes with a 20-foot suction hose that pulls water from any freshwater source, whether it be a bathtub, a lake, another hose probably if you could mate them up, or just a big bucket. Now we have a discrepancy here because on the box here it says you get 0.8 gallons per minute, but yet we have a different figure here on the actual Ryobi website. So that's kind of odd. The Ryobi EZ Clean Cordless Power Cleaner puts out 320 psi, making it 5 times more powerful than a garden hose. And of course, Ryobi suggests that you register your tools right away so that you can expedite claims and be alerted anytime there's any recalls or safety issues or anything like that. And they also have a chance to win 10,000 bucks. Count me in. Okay, so now that we have the spray wand here all put together, all you have to do is screw it into the front of the cleaner here. And screw it in nice and tight there. Okay, so now it's time to remove the bottom there and put the battery on. Now you can see here it's hinged on one side, and then the other side here has the nice snap down clamps. As we lift up the snap up clamp there, and then the hinged part just lifts up like that, see? And then the battery inserts right up into here. So we'll take the battery here. I'm going to use last year's model in here. And it sticks right in there. One thing I'll tell you that I do like about the bottom of this Ryobi pressure cleaner here, you see they have this black gasket that runs all the way around the edge there, so that keeps it nice and watertight in here. So now we just close that, like that, and snap it down and we're good to go. It almost doesn't want to hold its own. It barely holds balance there with the 4 amp hour battery. If you were to put a lighter battery in there, it wouldn't even hold. And there she is in all of her glory, poised to shoot. And so here we go. Here's our Ryobi power cleaner all connected up and ready to use here. Say hello to my little friend. Come on, tell me, I say that better than Al Pacino, don't I?
Say hello to my little friend!
Okay, now I don't think this is a brushless motor, because look right up here at the top of the slot, you'll see a spark. See that every time we run it there, you'll see this spark. So that's a sign of a brushed motor usually, because of the friction from the commutator. And look at the sparks inside the vent hole as well on the top. See the spark there? See it spark up right on the bottom of the slot. Okay, so this Ryobi EZ Clean Cordless Power Cleaner would normally be about $79. And interesting, when I went in to get it, we couldn't find it, even though I knew there had to have been some in the store. So the store manager was actually looking for it, couldn't find it. They got somebody from the tool department who looked for it and couldn't find it. And I finally found it on a display, because the length of it makes people think it comes in a long box, but it doesn't. It comes in this medium-sized box. It was very misleading. Okay, so let me show you another feature here on the trigger. So this is a trigger locking mechanism here. So when you have this trigger mechanism activated here, engaged like that, it locks the trigger, so you can't pull the trigger now. And now when you push the button back in, now you're free to engage the trigger. See? Now my only complaint, and of course it's not, this is a safety feature, is that there's no way to leave the trigger on all the time. There's just no way to do it. So you have to just hold it in with your finger, like that. Okay, so here we're going to screw the hose adapter onto the end of the hose. Make sure it's nice and snug. Okay, so now we have the hose hooked up and it's nice and tight, sealed. There's no leaking, no drips at all. So now we're wondering, okay, what is it that we can use this on that we know it'll have an effect on? What I want to know is, can I use this on my wheel rims here so that I can clean my wheel rims without having to use any soap or brushes or any other type of agitation? Will that work? So what I want to know is if we can use this Ryobi EZ Clean pressure cleaner here to clean all of this dirt here along the bottom of the wall here. Will that come off? I want to know if the Ryobi EZ Clean will remove all of this tree sap drippings here off the top of the wall. What about these green stains here on the fence? Do you think it will work on this? Okay, so we're going to try this little area here. We'll set it on 15 degrees and see how it looks. Yeah, so it looks like here that it just needs a lot more pressure than what the Ryobi has to put out here. Remember, we're dealing with 320 psi max, and that's even if we're actually getting that. I don't know, I don't have a way to measure that. We've used real pressure machines before. We've used real pressure washers before, and they will cut through that easily. Now, even with the turbo bit on, you could see once I got it within about an inch away from the planks here, it sort of looked like it was doing a little bit, but not on the green stuff. Keep in mind here that these kinds of stains, some of these don't even come up with the big fancy washers because they're just ingrained into the paint. So we'll see how it does here. So it just has a very slight effect at the bottom, and then up here at the top. But it does clean off any of the bugs and stuff that are sticking to the wall. Let's see what we can do with this stained area on top of the wall here. And you can see it's getting almost all of it up, so it's working on that. So on top of the wall, it did a great job. We're going to be painting this wall soon, so see how this area here has some paint which is looking a little loose, maybe chipped, so we're going to see if we can pressure clean it here to get some of the chips off. See that? So this is at least strong enough to help remove paint chips before you scrape. See, this wall has been painted a few times over the years, so that's the latest layer that's coming off there. Okay, now there's just one other minor inconvenience I wanted to point out to you. In order to read your battery's gauge here, you have to open this all the way up that way, and the battery gauge is like way up here, so you really got to jam your finger up in there and stick it way up in there and wedge it in there good in order to take the reading. It would have been nice if we had the battery meter a little lower on the battery there. All right, so now the next test we want to do here is I want to see how well this Ryobi EZ Clean here can clean this wheel rim here. Now, as you can see, I've let this wheel rim get dirty. This hasn't been cleaned in probably 3 months with a good thorough wheel and rim cleaner. So all of this brake dust is caked on here. So I want to see, we'll try it on half of it here and see how well it does compared to the hose, which we'll try on the left half, the hose on the jet setting. And we'll see if either one of these is capable of removing any of that dirt on its own without cleaners and without being brushed. Cover me. I'm going turbo. Okay, here we go. All right, now we'll try some in the drum here. Okay, so as you can see here, surprisingly, it actually did a fairly decent job. It got most of the dirt off of here. There's still some that didn't come in, and plus I wasn't quite at the right angle to come in at an angle here. I didn't want to block the camera to get this area. But you can see it also got most of it from inside the hub. And the hub is usually the part that's really the nastiest, that doesn't come clean unless you spray the specific wheel cleaners like what we normally use in here, which I'll show you in a second here. But it looks to me like this Ryobi EZ Clean will be a great tool to use on the car here, especially cleaning the wheels once we've sprayed the cleaner on there. So we're going to try it now on the left side with just my regular hose nozzle set on the jet mode, and we'll see how close that comes. Okay, so here's our hose on the jet setting, and let's take a look, see how it does on the left-hand side of the wheel. How each hose performed, and you can see how they both left some brake dust residue behind here, right? But however, on the left-hand side is a lot more dirty here. So the regular garden hose just didn't have enough pressure to remove any of the brake dust. It just doesn't look like it had much of an effect. And hopefully you can see on the camera how this side on the drum is shinier than the left side, because the Ryobi EZ Clean was able to really blow off a lot more of that brake dust. So now what we're going to do is I'm going to try another setting on the Ryobi tool here, and let's see how well it does. Okay, so now we're going to change the nozzle here to the 15-degree setting. I want to see if using this wider sweeping water stream here has any difference on how it performs here on the rims, cleaning off the dust and dirt. Yeah, so you can see the 15-degree setting here is pretty much useless. So turbo on just about every type of pressure wand seems to be the best mode. Let's try again on here and see how it does on cleaning off the dirt here that the hose could not get. Okay, now it's not so much Ryobi's fault here that it couldn't get all of this dust off. This iron particle brake dust is very difficult for anything to get off really without brushing it off and without using cleaner, because the iron particles need to be dissolved first. So what we're going to do now is combine this with using the Meguiars all-wheel cleaner here that will dissolve the brake dust, all of the ferrite particles here, and we'll see how it works then. Okay, so here's the Meguiars all-wheel cleaner that we're going to use, and we also like to use this one here too, the Sonax. Now on our carbuyingtips.com channel, if you're not subscribed, you want to make sure you're subscribed over there on that channel. We uploaded a video a few months ago where we compared the Meguiars here with the Sonax and with the Griot's Garage, and showed a whole video on how to clean the wheels properly. And man, was that a great video. So I'll put a link to that down in the description for you here. But today, I think we're going to do the Meguiars. They both work equally as well. But what's unique about this is you'll spray it onto the wheels here, and normally they want the wheels dry when you spray it on so you're not diluting the product. And it changes purple to indicate that it's reacting with the iron and dissolving it, so that you can rinse it right off after a few minutes. All right, so here we go. We just give it a generous helping of spray all the way around the wheel there. And I like to get back into the hub too, into the middle of the drum, because if you can get this nice and clean, it gets nice and shiny and it reflects back out nicely. Okay, now that we have it all sprayed on there, and you can see it's cleaning nicely, and normally you want to do this on a cloudy day. You don't want to do it in the bright sunlight. We're just doing it here for the video. Okay, so you're seeing it slowly turning purple now. It's reacting with the iron particles from the brake dust. You know, as you drive your car down the street, you're just doing nothing but collecting brake dust from other people's cars that are driving ahead of you. And that's where it embeds all over your paint of your car, and that's why you're supposed to really decontaminate your car really good with iron dissolver before you wash and wax the car. Okay, so normally I use my wheel Woolies. These are like the best brushes in the world. What they are is they feel like carpet. It's made out of like wool, the same material that you would make a carpet out of. So it's gentle, yet it provides the agitation, the physical agitation you need to physically remove the dirt that's clinging to the wheels there. But we're going to try to remove all of this off without using the brushes first. We're going to use the Ryobi EZ Clean to see if, with the aid of the cleaner here, is it now able to clean off the rest of the dirt. Okay, so now it's been 2 or 3 minutes. I usually like to come back and give it another spritz there to keep it wet. You want to keep the product moist and doing its job there. Okay. And this is what I really like about the Meguiars and the Sonax products here, is that both give you that visual indication that it's actually doing its job and dissolving the iron there, all of the ferrous particles. So I'll put our Amazon affiliate links down in the video description below for you so you can check these out for yourself and investigate further. But I highly recommend that you get this kind of stuff for doing your wheels. You know, trying to clean your wheels with dish soap and all that and whatever other car shampoo you're using just doesn't get it all. You have to use a specific cleaner that's specifically made for those rims, and the ones that say that they dissolve the iron particles. Okay, so we are back on the turbo setting now on the Ryobi EZ Clean, and let's see how well she does here. And the closer you get, the deeper it can get all of the dirt off too. But you can see it's a lot shinier and silver now than it was even before. Remember my finger mark that was over here before? We'll see how it looks when it's all dry. Alright, so now I'm going to switch it to rinse, and let's see how it does at clearing it all off. Houston, we have a problem. Okay, now you remember I had my illusions of grandeur, and not Granger Supply, my illusions of grandeur, okay? So remember I thought I was going to pull this guy off here and use this as a quick disconnect with my other hose system here on the front. So here's the hose system for my front yard, and as you can see on my hoses, I've converted everything to these quick disconnects here, which are very common on pressure cleaners, right? And I did this because when we're washing cars and we're filming a lot of videos for our carbuyingtips.com channel, we have to be able to quickly disconnect the hose nozzle and, for example, install our soap gun on here to rapidly soap up the cars that we're washing here. But let's take a look at what happened when we tried to fit this. So it looks like a standard size fitting, but unfortunately it does make it past the first part of it, but it won't get past that second part here. So it's the wrong size, shape, and architecture to fit with a standard quick system disconnect like this here. Yeah, so I'm thinking here, well, wait a minute, look at my nozzle. My nozzle looks like it's the same type of connector there, that male connector. Why doesn't it fit? Let's compare the two. So there you have it. If you look, this is the standard one here, and it looks like Ryobi has their own proprietary connector and shape and everything. This trench is right here, but yet look how thick it is on the Ryobi side there. It's a lot thicker. Ryobi has this big thicker part right here that the quick disconnect can't fit over. So that's another major problem here. And I don't think it's really a deal breaker, but it is a major pain in the butt, because if you were ever expecting to do quick disconnects with this Ryobi system, you can't do it with other regular quick disconnect parts. It just simply is not compatible. So what do you have to do? See, here's the beauty of my quick disconnect. In the middle part, and then the adapter on the hose end there. So the problem here with this is I can't just connect the Ryobi into this. I have to disconnect this quick connect apparatus that I made here, and I made it on purpose because of the valve in the middle. See, this way I can turn off the water from here when I change whatever head I put on here. This way I don't have to go back to the hose bib here and shut off the water supply. I can just shut off the hose water right here. It's a brilliant idea. So here's what we have to do with Ryobi. Okay, so just like I showed you before, we have to take this adapter and screw it onto the hose, and then plug this onto the Ryobi EZ Clean sprayer here. So it's just a little bit more work. It's not the end of the world. However, now I have to go back to the hose bib to shut off the water every time I got to change this out. This totally negates my entire setup here. But if you don't have this setup to begin with, it's a non-issue for you. I guess so. My only question to the folks at Ryobi and their engineering team is, what the heck were you people thinking when you designed this thing? Why in the world didn't you use a standard fitting like everybody else in the world uses? Why did you have to make this part proprietary here? It makes absolutely no sense at all. It makes life a lot harder for us. Okay, so here you can see now, after a few minutes of drying, I mean, you can see just how brilliantly clean this thing got. It's not perfect, but man, it looks light years better than it looked a few minutes ago. If you look at how this rim, look at it nice and now, see how nice and shiny it is around here? And look at the drum is even much cleaner than it was before we added the cleaner. But if you compare this to before we started, when we just used the Ryobi EZ Clean sprayer on the wheel by itself, you saw that it took off a little bit of dirt. And then by adding on here the Meguiars cleaner here, the all-wheel cleaner, how the combination of that with the Ryobi did really, really well. But there are still pockets of dirt that still didn't quite make it off, because when you're cleaning wheels, even with the best cleaners in the world, you still need to use some type of mechanical agitation to physically move it, scrape it off. Yeah, so for example, right here, you can see some dirt here, and this is why when you see how even just the lightest bit of brushing with the brush right now, while the wheel's even dry, how it just removes the remainder of that dust. Yeah, because the wheel and rim cleaners usually specify that they want you to rinse it off with an aggressive stream of water, but having that 320 psi is much better than just the garden hose alone, which is almost useless. Okay, here we go with turbo mode here. So that got some of it, not all of it, but it got all of that, and it got all of this. Okay, pretty easy. Okay, now I want to see how well it does on this cement curb. So this is a garden perimeter wall we had formed out of cement years ago. And this part here is protected under the overhang, so it's a lot grayer and cleaner, as you can see, lighter gray. But here it's all black. So I want to see how it does here in turbo mode, if it can handle and clean off any of that. So typical with many of the wand type cleaners, if you give it dwell time in a certain area, you can see that it does indeed clean if you go really slow back and forth and let it keep hitting the same area over and over again here. So I could see it making a difference here. See, so what I do is sometimes I'll come by first and spray it down with some of the Amway liquid organic cleaner here. And we're Amway distributors too, shameless plug. So I'll put links to our affiliate page for Amway down in the description below, and if you want to get some of this, you can. I use this stuff all over the place because it's so gentle, but yet it does clean incredibly well, and it's not harsh like bleach. So here's our section here where we did the left part of it here, this little section here, without the soap, and then here on the right with the soap. And I guess you really can't tell until it's completely dry as to whether the soap was any better than not using it. Typically, if you're using high pressure 3200 psi pressure machines, you really don't need the soap. Okay, one of the other benefits here of this Ryobi EZ Clean pressure clean wand here is that if you don't have a hose nearby, it comes with a 20-foot hose that you can plug on here and suck water out of a bucket. So let's give it a shot. We have a 5-gallon bucket of water here that's filled halfway up, so we have about 2.5 gallons of water. And now it's time to pull the snake monster out of his bag. So here's the 20-foot hose that it comes with. Entry port right there, the filter, that's where it sucks it in. So all we do is we pull off the old adapter to the hose for the garden hose, and you slip on this one here. Now this one comes with the adapter on it too, so you don't have to do anything else. Just make sure it's on there nice and snug. Let's rinse, turbo. Now you can see as you get down to the bottom couple of inches of water, it starts to lose the suction there. It loses its siphon. Okay, so it looks like it stopped down to a trickle there, right around the time we got to about an inch of water left in the bucket. Another great use for this is if you mix up your own weed killer, you can mix up a whole couple of gallons in a bucket and spray all of the weeds that you need to hit. So this works out really good. I mean, look how powerful that is. Just instantly sprays this whole entire area right here. Okay, so we can see some of the areas where this Ryobi EZ Clean sprayer here does a good job, and that is on cleaning your car, and it especially shines on cleaning your wheels, literally actually, because you saw what a great job it did on the rims there. And then also on the curbs here in the garden here. So as long as you keep your concrete and stuff reasonably clean, and if you wash it often, you should be okay with this. But if you let it go too long, you're going to have to bring in the professional gear that goes like 3,300 PSI of water, along with 2.5 gallons per minute of usage too. I think this is better suited as just a rinsing and washing and light cleaning, but nothing more. Some of the disadvantages that I've noticed here on the Ryobi EZ Clean pressure cleaner here. One is, see, this is your on-off safety switch right here. The problem is, because it sticks out too far on this side, sometimes wrapping your finger around the other side, because you wrap it, once in a blue moon, I can get it just right where it actually goes, it's just too trigger happy. It goes like halfway and it locks it. So the next time I go to pull the trigger, it's locked, and I have to like push the button back in again. So that's one little minor inconvenience. Okay, so the second disadvantage here of the Ryobi EZ Clean is, of course, as we pointed out, this quick disconnect here. It's a proprietary architecture here, so it will not work with all of the other quick disconnects on the market. So if you were planning on connecting it up to your system and you have all of those quick disconnects, you're not going to be able to use it. Okay, one other notable disadvantage here is it just doesn't seem to put out a whole lot of pressure. Even though we weren't expecting a lot, 320 PSI is not a lot of pressure, but it is noticeably more than your garden hose. That is for certain here. But it just doesn't seem like it sprays out far enough either, you know. It just doesn't have a whole lot of pressure. So that was a little bit disappointing, but you know, I also didn't expect it to do a whole lot either. So one of the great advantages of this is, of course, the power that it has. It does shoot out a pretty good stream of water, quickly coat your car with water, but I think the biggest advantage of it is having that hose that sucks the water out of a bucket. That way you can take this mobile with you. If you're in a spot where you can't get a hose to reach, or there is no hose near you, this is a great tool to have that hose that connects right here and goes down into that bucket. Okay, so the best way to think of this Ryobi EZ Clean spray cleaner here is think of it as a magnifying glass for your hose. That's the best way to think of it. So you're probably wondering if it makes sense to buy this Ryobi EZ Clean pressure cleaner. Well, I think it does if you're getting it as the buy one, get one free during Ryobi Days, when you can buy the 2 batteries, the charger, and the bag for $99, and then you get this free. So only do that if you know you want those extra batteries and you already have Ryobi products that you want to add the batteries for, or just even introduce yourself to the line by getting those 2 batteries and then this tool, okay? But otherwise, this tool is $79 on its own, which I'm still on the fence whether it's worth that kind of money. But if you do decide to get it at that price, and remember, not every store has it in stock, make sure you go in there and use one of these Lowe's 10% off coupons here, which they will accept at Home Depot. And if you can't get the Lowe's one to work there, and maybe you have a Home Depot one, you could try that too. But it won't work online. You have to use a Home Depot coupon online. The other thing you can do is wait for, on Home Depot's website, you know, they always do those special buys of the day. Maybe it shows up one day as a special buy of the day, and so you might save a little bit. So anyway, our impressions here of this Ryobi EZ Clean are that it's really just more of a washer and rinser, not so much of a pressure cleaner at all. Don't expect it to do any of the difficult things that you have pictured in your mind when you see people using a big, you know, pressure washer out on the sidewalk. So anyway, if you're finding this video useful, hey, do us a favor. Would you go ahead and click on that like button down below? Just smash it like there's no tomorrow. And if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, hey, what are you waiting for? You see all the great videos we produce for you here. Videos on remodeling your houses and your kitchens, and you know, flooring, and all sorts of engineering disasters, and tool reviews like you saw here today. So when you click on that subscribe button down below there, make sure you click the little gray bell icon next to it. That will tell you every time we upload a new video, you'll get an alert from YouTube, or if we do a live stream, because you don't want to miss any of our videos, folks. Well, thank you so much for tuning in this week, and we'll see you on the next one. So here's the pole saw. The pole saw is $139. It is not part of the deal. And same with that $99 string trimmer and blower deal. There's the display there that has, see on the far right for 79 bucks. That's my pressure cleaner tool right there. So they also have the hedge trimmer, the 18 volt hedge trimmer. That's a 22-inch trimmer right there. See that?